to a sunny Snetterton for the third round of the Nankang Tyres BMW Compact Cup. Arriving here in the southeast, it is Stephen Daly who enjoys a 3-point championship lead over Ian Jones, with Ben Huntley not far behind. David May and Mark Skeets meanwhile are debating the Masters Championship lead. But before we go racing today, let's take a look back at some of the highlights from the first two rounds. Whilst it may be Stephen Daly who enjoys the points lead arriving at Snetterton, it was Ian Jones who got out of the blocks quickest at the season opener. Whilst Alan Caulfield, Ray McDowell and Lee Denty Sadler were having their own problems at Paddock Hill Bend, Ian Jones was on his way to the victory in race 1 at Brands Hatch. Race 2 saw more drama for the midfield runners, all of which was safely negotiated by eventual winner Stephen Daly, the reigning champion taking his first checkered flag for the year. Race 3 saw a relatively uncontested victory go the way of Ian Jones, and with it the points lead, arriving at Alton Park. At the Cheshire circuit though, it was Ben Huntley who appeared to have found even more speed, taking his third podium finish of the year in race 1, whilst Matt Flowers had a positive run end in the Cascades gravel trap. Jones was a 3-time winner, whilst David May was back on the outright podium, again winning the Masters class. David briefly led race 2 before feisty Scotsman Daly fought him off into Cascades and took a lead that he would not relinquish to the checkered flag. May was second, whilst Keith Towers was on the podium. It all came to a head in race 3 though, where Ian Jones, in his determination to fend off Stephen Daly, skittered through the Cascades gravel trap and briefly dropped outside of the top 20. It was Ben Huntley who was able to take advantage though to take the race lead, and then he got his elbows out to defend to the checkered flag and take his first win of 2019. So as the cars make their way onto the grid then, let's take a look at how they'll line up. It's Ian Jones and Stephen Daly on the front row, with Ben Huntley and Matt Parks on row 2. Tom Griffiths and Wayne Flint are on the third row. Luke Browse and David May are on row 4, with Keith Towers and Mark Skeets sharing row 5, ahead of Paul Maguire and Rhys Claydon with his best qualifying effort of the season. Matt Flowers and Oliver Fowler are next, then Mikey Doble and Gordon McMillan, with David Sharp and Tom Langford on the 9th row of the grid. Lee Denty Sadler and Will Davison round out the top 20, then Tim Scott Andrews, Adam Reed, Craig Jameson and Aaron Morgan 24th of 43, remarkably. The Nankang Tyres BMW Compact Cup very much headlining this BRSCC race meeting here at Snetterton, and with good reason. There are 43 cars about to head onto the circuit together. No split grid this weekend, so we could be in for 3 particularly busy races. So the 5-second board is raised then. Keith Towers we're on board with. It is Ian Jones and Stephen Daly who share the front row of the grid. Remember, Daly is 3 points clear of Jones in the championship battle. Ian really could do with beating him in this one. Away we go then. We're on board with the pole sitter, and already, look at that, Stephen Daly is nosing in front, but on the outside line towards Rich's corner. Stephen Daly will not want to take too many risks here, but if he can get around Ian Jones at the first turn, he will no doubt go for it. They run wheel to wheel through Rich's corner. The double apex right-hander off his David May, so too Rhys Claydon. Several others are off wide as well. I think Gordon McMillan was on the grass too. Perhaps unsurprisingly, with so many cars going through the first corner, there were 1 or 2 casualties, as at the hairpin Ian Jones runs out wide. He takes Daly with him, and it looked to me as though that was Matthew Parks who went through into the race lead. Matt Parks, who got his first ever victory in the championship here 12 months ago in fairly fortuitous circumstances, but he had really good pace that weekend too, and he's delivering on that potential again here today by snatching the race lead away in the early stages. Jones is second. It's side by side for third then, with Ben Huntley up the inside of Stephen Daly towards Agostini. Ian Jones ducking and diving. They all slow down for the hairpin, and barrelling round the outside of everybody goes Tom Griffiths. Tom Griffiths may have just got past Stephen Daly and possibly is now ahead of Ben Huntley as well onto the podium. We'll have to pick that up in a moment or two. 2 and 3 wide action and plenty further back as Tom Langford bangs wing mirrors with one of the Dobles, I think that was, on the run out of the tight left-hander. Most likely that was Mike Doble, who I think was the closest to him on the grid. They worked their way then up towards the right-hander at Oggies. The midfield battle's particularly frenetic here, with such a busy pack of cars negotiating this tight and technical infield section for the first time of asking. Only a 15-minute race as well, so you've got to try and get on with this in the early stages, particularly those who are maybe making off a bad start. A bit of congestion there in the midfield. That's number 77, Steve Chandler, going slowly. He's got a problem, unfortunately, with the yellow car. As for the race lead, it is Matt Parks defending busily from Ian Jones. Huntley is still third then, but Griffiths did go around the outside of Stephen Daly. So right now, if we threw the checkered flag, which thank goodness we're not going to do, there's still plenty more racing to be done, but if we were to throw the checkered flag now, it would be Ian Jones who would take back the championship lead fairly convincingly, actually, from Stephen Daly. And we know that Stephen's a fighter, and he will no doubt try and work his way back onto the tail of the race leader before too much longer. There is Stephen. He's attacking for 4th place for the time being. as he tries to find a way past Tom Griffiths. And Parks then leading the way, and he is going to lead the first lap of this BMW Nankang Tyres Compact Cup race meeting. Keith Towers we're on board with here then. Keith, who is one of the lead Masters contenders this season, really in that battle with Mark Skeets and David May for the title in the Masters ranks. But all of those drivers at times have been up there fighting for outright podiums. So too this man, Wayne Flint, in the number 55 car, who works his way through Ridge's corner, runs a bit wide. Wayne Flint, though, looking for his first ever podium, if he can get it. He's the way away from the podium places for now. Here with Keith Towers down towards the Wilson hairpin. Paul McGuire, that was, just in front, defending from Luke Browse. That will still be the order those two cars find themselves in. Right behind them, the red and white car of Keith Towers just casually adjusts the rear view mirror on the run towards Palmer's as he tries to keep a grip of who's around him and what they're all trying to do. But as you can imagine, it's easier said than done to keep on top of everything that's going on around you with so many cars on the circuit at the same time. Lots of locking up as Keith Towers goes for third place there at the inside of Ben Huntley. Ian Jones had to go for the race lead and ended up losing momentum, so Huntley tries to go around the outside, gets elbowed onto the dirt. Wayne Flint is joining in as well. It's a 6-car battle for the race lead that makes its way towards Hamilton for the second time, and they are so close together that you have to wonder how much longer they can keep this up without some contact being made. Usually the driving standards are really very clean and respectful at the front end of these BMW Compact Cup races, but as you can see with this ultra close competition we're enjoying this year more than ever, arguably, maybe a little bit of paint may be traded on occasion. Stephen Taylor there trying to get a run on Tom Griffiths because he has got this pressure from Wayne Flint behind. Again here with Keith Towers running down the Bentley straight, that is, I think still ex-Caterham racer Luke Browse in front of him. Luke is receiving tuition this year from TCR UK runner-up last year, Ollie Taylor. Not a bad driver to have in your camp. And Ollie, clearly his guidance is working because Luke is having a really strong showing this weekend, inside the top 10 here. And looking for, I believe, his first top 10 finish of the season. He was 11th in race 1 at Alton Park. That was his best result of the season so far. And of course they're all benefiting from the battling that's going on ahead of them, keeping this whole pack nicely bunched together. The top two may be starting to escape slightly now, from Huntley 3rd, Griffiths 4th and Daly 5th, with Wayne Flint, then Mark Skeets, then McGuire, then Browse, then Towers, then everybody else in one long queue as they come through to the completion now of the second lap of the race. Once again with Tom Langford here, who has a bit of clean air in front of him by this race's standards. That's got to be at least 6 or 7 car lengths to the next pack of cars in front. Fairly certain he doesn't have a 5 or 6 car length advantage over the pack behind him though. Tom hugging the white line down the right hand side of the pit lane there to try and defend towards Ridge's corner, where on the exit of Ridge's corner Stephen Daly is attacking for 4th place. He's cleanly up the inside of Tom Griffiths and makes it look easy, so Stephen Daly picks up another place. With it, another couple of championship points will go his way. It's relatively early stage of the championship. It is still well worth keeping track of these championship points because it is so tight at the top. Just 8 points covering the top 3. Ben Huntley and Ian Jones, though, right now looking set to take some points out of Daly, potentially. Stephen Daly is coming, isn't he? He's into 4th place now and looks ominous in the white and black car there, 4th in line. Looks to the inside of Ben Huntley there, who has a big look to the inside of Ian Jones, who I think was trying to get a better exit from Agostini than the race leader Matt Parks. There is Paul McGuire, the black car just behind the yellow car of Mark Skeets, who is one of the leading Masters contenders in this race then, because David May has had a slightly, by his recently high standards, slightly lacklustre weekend so far. David only qualified down the order slightly outside of the top 10, wasn't he? So he's got some work to do to try and get himself back into contention. Excuse me, he was 8th on the grid, was David May. But having not finished worse than 4th all year this year outright, let alone within the Masters contention, there he is, the BMW Works liveries car, and it's not really helping himself there with that grass-tracking line out of Williams. So he will fall ever further back now from the cars in front. Right at the front of the pack though, it's almost side by side for the race lead, as again Matt Parks just has to defend the inside through Brundle. Be careful though, because you can go around the outside of Brundle to have the inside line for that right-hander at Nelson, but it can sometimes get a bit congested when you try that. But it is a legitimate overtaking opportunity here on the Snetterton circuit. And then through the bomb hole, back up towards Coram Corner again, and this little pack being led by Mark Skeets, but Paul McGuire, former Mazda MX-5 racer, and front runner indeed in Mazda MX-5 racing, is starting now to look a little racy. He's sideways through Coram, very easily done though, because you're braking and turning at the same time, and then you have to fling the car the opposite direction through the left-hander at Murray's. very, very tricky part of the circuit there to end the third lap of the race. Wayne Flint then across the start-finish line. He's trying to close in on the group in front. Again, it's almost side by side for the race leaders. Ian Jones goes to the outside into Riches. Now, he's not trying to go right round the outside there. He's instead trying to concentrate on exit speed to get on the inside towards Wilson, which you can see off in the distance. Matt Parks is wise to it, moves over to the inside to defend, and this is what stacks the whole pack up, and someone will be brave enough to go to the outside, and on this occasion, perhaps unsurprisingly, it's Stephen Daly that tries that, and he's trying to take third place away from one of his big championship rivals, Ben Huntley. That's Keith Towers on the grass with Gordon McMillan up the inside, but the race leaders are starting to jockey for position again, and Stephen Daly actually has not got past Ben Huntley, but instead has Tom Griffiths trying to go around the outside of him. This might not work out though for Tom, unfortunately, because he's going to be on the outside line for at least the next two corners as well. Stephen Daly will go back up the inside for fourth, and Wayne Flint might even be able to follow him through here. Wayne's looking to the inside. What about the exit speed for Griffiths on the dirty side of the road? He struggles for traction. Wayne Flint tries to stay alongside towards Hamilton, but he can't quite do it, and so Griffiths hangs on. But Stephen Daly there, far from gaining ground, very nearly ended up losing a couple of positions there, and that goes to show just how crucial these moves are. You have to execute them right. If you go for a move that doesn't work, then it can end up costing you several positions. Again for the race lead, Ian Jones looks to the outside here, Matt Parks, and he's trying this outside move. Is he through Brundle and Nelson? Yes, he's got the inside line. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. Parks is off sideways, and Ian Jones goes through into the race lead. He's slow off the corner though, and Ben Huntley with two wheels on the grass goes through. There's more contact into the bomb hole, and somehow Huntley hangs on and takes over the race lead. There's damage to the front of Ian Jones' car, there's damage to the back of his car as well, and Stephen Daly, I think somehow out of all of that has come through in second position. Yes, he has, with Tom Griffiths third and Ian Jones surely destined for the pit lane. There are bits falling off the number 59 BMW as it comes through Murray's corner, and now Matt Parks is right back on his tail. Ian Jones, does he call it a day? No, he stays on circuit, which means that he and Matt Parks will temporarily at least resume their battle, but I think Jones has now pulled out of line. Has he to the left-hand side of the road? Is he slowing? It looks like it. Wayne Flint can't really see where he's going in the smoke. Well, that was a dramatic sequence of events there. We suggested a lap ago that Jones might try that move. Here's a replay. Look, goes around the outside at Brundle to try and get the inside at Nelson, but he's not fully alongside. Parks turns in. There's contact between the two of them. Matt exits stage right, and out of nowhere comes Ben Huntley, who tries to close the door through the bomb hole and very nearly got himself turned across the nose of Ian Jones, the erstwhile race leader. But it was Huntley that came out of it all with the lead of the race now, with Stephen Daly second. And I think Tom Griffiths in third position. Yes, he is. Matt Parks fourth, and then this man Wayne Flint is fifth, and Ian Jones is now pulling off, and that is a non-finish that he could ill afford. He was already trailing Stephen Daly by 3 points in the championship race, and this retirement will not do him any good at all. It will no doubt become one of his dropped scores, but that is essentially 2 races in a row now that we've seen Ian Jones arguably making mistakes, really. He had that off lap one at Alton Park, which dropped him way down the order. He was very lucky, actually, to recover to a 6th position, put in a good recovery drive, but then you can argue he should never really have been in that position in the first place, and now in this race, you have to sort of say that was unnecessary contact there, and Matt Parks will no doubt agree with me, because he's been nerfed off the track down to 4th position. There he is, the man who had led every lap of this race up until that point, is now off the podium places altogether. On board with Wayne Flint, who's just behind him in 5th position. He's maybe a little bit closer to that group now than he was. We still have a fight for the race lead, because it's out of all of it Ben Huntley that's ended up out in front, with Stephen Daly behind. Now, these two had a sensational battle in that third and final race at Alton Park a few weeks ago. A race that Ben won, his first victory of the season, far from his first podium appearance. In fact, Ben has not been off the podium yet this season. A win, 2 seconds, and a 3rd place mean that he is now, arguably, with Ian Jones' demise, emerging as Stephen Daly's nearest rival in the championship. If he can hang on to this race victory, he certainly will be his nearest rival in the championship. And Ben, who's been threatening this for a year or so now, ever since he took his first victory last season, his first victory, of course, was Alton Park, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago. You forget, actually, that he hadn't won a race. He's had a few podiums before this season, but this year really has emerged as a strong championship contender. He's going to have to prove his championship credentials now, though, if he's going to keep Stephen Daly and, indeed, Tom Griffiths Griffiths and Matt Parks, and arguably Wayne Flint behind him, because they're all starting to gang up on him again. This Snetterton 300 circuit with its long straights allows lots of slipstreaming, and with its big braking zones allows lots of out-braking manoeuvres to be attempted as well. Tom Griffiths attempted one, but actually it's Daly that goes through. Oh, there's contact. They're both off the road. Stephen Daly and Ben Huntley. I don't believe it. They've both gone off. There's more contact there between Matt Parks and Steve Daly as they go through Palmer's. And I think that Tom Griffiths has just managed to wrestle the race lead away from them. Yes, he has. So down towards Agostini, and another lead change. Griffiths is out in front, Daly is second, and Ben Huntley could be off the podium because Matt Parks is fighting back around the outside, and Wayne Flint still won't go away either. He's in 5th place. He runs a bit wide though, so won't gain any positions just yet. More drama in what has been a drama-filled opening race of the weekend here at Snetterton. The BMW Compact Cup living up to its headline bill here this weekend, and they are thoroughly entertaining the spectators trackside. But I don't think that Ben Huntley will be particularly entertained by what just happened, because contact between he and Stephen Daly means that both of them have now dropped down. Well, Daly is still second, I suppose, but certainly Huntley has cost him 3 positions. He's now in exactly the same position that Matt Parks found himself in a lap or so ago after his duel with Ian Jones ended in contact. Wayne Flint still 5th as well, not for the want of trying though. On 2 or 3 occasions now it looked like his luck might have been in, and he might have been about to jump into a podium position. It's Griffiths that leads then. Daly now runs wide, and he's on the grass, and this could be maybe Matt Parks' chance to get back up the inside. Yes, he's up the inside towards the bomb hole, and Huntley, action replay from a couple of laps ago, goes round the outside, 2 wheels on the grass, and turns into the bomb hole 1 place higher than he was. This time it's 3rd position, with Matt Parks into 2nd, so more changes here that he can keep up with almost. Paul McEwan says, this looks like fun, I want to join in. He's closing in too, and it will very shortly be 5 cars for 2nd place, but it is only for 2nd place because Tom Griffiths is taking full advantage of this look to pull away at the front of the field. Parks, Huntley, Daly, Skeets and McGuire look set to debate the lower positions on the podium, but Matt Parks is in the pit lane. Matt Parks, what a promising, what a disappointing end to what was looking like a really promising race. Matt Parks is in the pits, potentially damaged from one of the bits of contact he's had in this race. Either way, he will not be on the podium. He will not score any points at all. So, on to the final lap. Someone hide the checkered flag. This has been an absolutely sensational race, and it is not over yet because Stephen Daly is back up the inside for 2nd place now. He's trying to outbrake Ben Huntley into the hairpin. He goes through. He runs a bit wide though, and look at that. Wayne Flint goes up the inside as well. Wayne Flint, who has never had a podium in the BMW Compact Cup, is into 3rd position. Sensational, opportunistic driving there. And Wayne Flint, who's been stuck sort of watching from the outside in 5th position, just wanting to be a part of this battle all race long, has finally been able to take advantage of the shuffling in front of him to get into 3rd position. So Griffiths leads, Daly 2nd, and now Wayne Flint in 3rd place once more. Look, he's attacking the reigning champion no less for 2nd place, but he needs to be careful because Ben Huntley's back up the inside. Bang, bang, they rub, they touch on the exit of the corner, and look at Wayne Flint there as he fights the steering wheel, trying to keep control of the car. He's side by side here into Hamilton. He's on the outside line. He turns in though and holds on to 3rd position. So Ben Huntley, despite the argy-bargy on the exit of Agostini, was not able to lever his way through, and Wayne Flint hangs on to this 3rd position. Will he choose now to settle for 3rd, or does he still think he's got something for Stephen Daly? I reckon though the rest of this final lap of the race might actually turn into a defensive drive for Flint rather than an attacking one, because Ben Huntley's had a much better exit from Williams. Goes to the left of the road down the Bentley Straight, then probably goes to the right hand side again. We can't see him because we're on board with Wayne Flint, but Wayne is driving down the middle of the road. That's the defensive line. Huntley can't get alongside though, and instead has to watch his mirrors because Paul McGuire is joining in as well. Sensational racing here for the BMW Compact Cup. It has been one of the most entertaining, that's the word I'll go with, races that we've seen for a long time in this championship, and it looks as though Tom Griffiths is going to come out on top for only his 2nd ever win. Remember, he took his 1st win in a near photo finish at Thruxton last year with Stephen Daly. This one is not quite as close at the flag, but it was equally dramatic the way in which he got the race lead, and Tom Griffiths exits the final corner, and car number 16 will become a 2-time winner in the Nankang Tyres BMW Compact Cup. 2nd place is going to be Stephen Daly. For 3rd place, it looks like it might be side by side, but the checkered flag goes to Tom Griffiths. A fantastic drive to win by 1.7 seconds in the end over Stephen Daly in 2nd, and Wayne Flint hangs on for his 1st ever podium finish. A brilliant drive there for all concerned. Ben Huntley is 4th, and we're disappointed with that. I think Paul McGuire though gets his 1st ever top 5. Mark Skeets is next, Luke Rouse is 7th, Towers, Gordon McMillan and David May disappointingly down in 10th position. Mike Doble is 11th, Matt Flowers 12th, Adam Reed 13th, then Craig Jameson and Tom Langford, ahead of David Sharp, Oliver Fowler, Aaron Morgan and the rest. Remarkably, despite the high action in that race, we only actually lost 4 cars. We saw Simon Welch retire in the first lap, Stephen Chandler also retired early on, Ian Jones and Matt Parks both retired after their contact. Whether or not that was the reason specifically for Parks' DNF, I'm not sure. I'll certainly say that's why Ian Jones failed to finish.
Okay, Tom, congratulations. First win of the year, you must be very happy with that.
Over the moon with that. It was a hectic, chaotic race, but kept our nose clean and kept right in there.
Okay, and that means you start from pole for the next round. You can look into take another win?
Hopefully we can get away well at the start and keep in front of everybody.
Brilliant. All right, good luck with that one.
Lovely, thanks very much.
All right, Stephen, second place today. How did that go for you?
It wasn't bad. We're quite happy with the result. Obviously, it's a close championship, so it's just about accumulating points. You know, there's no, when you don't need to go for the wins, there's no point. You know, it's just about keeping up there in second, third place, and just trying to manage the championship that way, which we're doing up to now anyway. So we're quite happy with second. Big thanks to the KC Motorsport guys. It's been awesome having them on board again this year, and they're providing me a good car as they always do.
With Tom Griffiths winning, you got a few more rivals for the championship this year.
Tom's naturally fast. His dad puts a hell of a lot of time in the car, and you know it shows out there. It really does show how the experience Tom's got out there is just unreal, and he drives like a champion as well.
And you start side by side for the next round, so good luck with that one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, that was a hugely entertaining first race. Some major talking points, including this contact between Ian Jones and Matt Parks. Matt Parks off the road, some great opportunistic driving from Ben Huntley then to, albeit briefly, take the race lead. More contact with Ian Jones. How that didn't end up in a more significant accident, I will never know. Ian Jones, though, well, it cost him dearly. His first non-finish of the year means that he drops down to 8th place in the points. He'll be very grateful for those dropped scores. A mention, though, for Wayne Flint, who used this great piece of opportunistic driving to nick his first ever podium in the championship. He'll be hoping to go 1 or maybe even 2 places better in race 2. So the cars head out onto the grid then in more or less the order in which they finished race 1. There is one change, which I'll get to in a moment. Tom Griffiths and Stephen Daly, though, still share row 1, ahead of Wayne Flint, then Paul Maguire 4th, ahead of Mark Skeets and Luke Browse, Keith Towers and Gordon McMillan. Ben Huntley is not on the second row. He's on row 5 because of a 5-place grid penalty after race 1, just ahead of David May, who was outside the top 4 for the first time all season long in the previous race. Further down the order there, Tim Scott Andrews and Mike Doble round out the top 20, ahead of Lee Dendy Sadler and Alessandro Albano, whilst Rhys Claydon down on the 14th row of the grid. Well, he qualified 12th in race 1, only managed 28th at the line. He has some work to do. Of course, right at the back of this 40-odd car grid are some quick drivers. Ian Jones starts 40th, Matt Park starts 41st, and Stephen Chandler from 42nd is one to watch for as well, as they all try to make progress after non-finishes in race 1. Lots of onboard action to bring you then over the next 15 minutes. Race number 2 bursts into life. Keith Towers launches towards turn 1, but he doesn't get very far. He's in the barriers already after some contact from the rear, and he is surely out of the race. Tom Griffiths and Stephen Daly debate the race lead. There's more carnage further back, and even more. David May is off with Luke Browse, and bang! That's a big double impact there for David May, who is almost certainly out of the race as well. I'd be surprised if Luke Browse can continue. There is Ian Jones picking his way through it all. Browse has continued. Keith Towers, though, unsurprisingly, has not. At the head of the field, Wayne Flint is going for the race lead. Look at the hairpin as they all try and pick their way through. There's more sideways antics further back. Keep an eye on Jones. Where is he? Where is he? There he is, further back, still outside the top 30 or so. But Wayne Flint is almost in the race lead. Tom Griffiths is fighting back now on the extra Palmer's corner, and there's contact between the two of them. They're both on the grass, and that delays the pair of them. Where is Stephen Daly in all of this? He's going up the inside of Wayne Flint for second position, and the second of the silver cars is Gordon McMillan, who locks up in 4th position. Griffiths leads the way, though. Daly up the inside of both he and Wayne Flint, though, and Stephen Daly is trying to go from 3rd to 1st in one fell swoop, and he might just do it. He's got the inside line for Hamilton as well, and yes, he goes through. Stephen Daly into the race lead, and Gordon McMillan into 3rd position out of absolutely nowhere. Gordon McMillan started 8th on the grid, and he's carved his way into 3rd position. The last time we saw Gordon, he was going down the wrong piece of racetrack at Alton Park. Park and earning himself a 1-lap penalty. Well, now here he is, fighting for a podium position in the early stages at race 2 at Snetterton. Flint is down to 4th, Maguire appears to be in 5th position. Matt Flowers is inside the top 10. There's been a real shuffle of the order there because of the early chaos as 43 cars tried to pick their way through the first couple of corners. In the end, they didn't even get to the first corner before a little bit of contact was made on that ultra-narrow pit straight. There's not really much blame that can be apportioned to the drivers there. It's such a narrow run towards the first corner, and with maybe some drivers getting better starts than others, contact was almost inevitable. The yellow flags are out and the safety car is being scrambled. I don't think that's a particularly shocking piece of news. Wayne Flint, though, doesn't seem to have got the message. Look, he's diving on the inside of Gordon McMillan and then wondering why everyone else is slowing down, and now he sees the boards, backs off and lets McMillan back through, so no harm, no foul there. Should have awarded a penalty. And now we can breathe for the first time in about 2.5 minutes. That was a very, very chaotic start to the race. Sadly, we've lost quite a few high-profile drivers, though, with Tyres in the barriers, and we saw David May with a big hit as well. There is McMillan. How can he hang on to this podium? That's the question, because the man behind him will be equally hungry for a podium, because that is Paul Maguire in only his 3rd ever meeting in the championship. It is needless to say he's not had a podium before, and now he's staring down the barrel of one. He needs to try and find a way past Gordon McMillan, though, if he wants to make that happen. That will be a fascinating battle to watch as we go towards the end of the race. Maguire got his best ever finish in the championship in 5th place in the previous race. That was his first top 5. A bit like Wayne Flint, something at Snetterton seems to be suiting Paul Maguire, where he had much success at the back end of last year in Mazda MX-5 championship racing, albeit in slightly better conditions than this, but he clearly goes well around here and is proving that pace again here in the BMW Compact Cup. On board with Tom Langford, all action shot of the 75 car as it goes down through the gears into Wilson, out over the curb, short shot gear changes back towards Palmer's, the corner that the race leaders are exiting now. And there, Paul Maguire, the black car, chasing down the silver and black machine, number 10 of Gordon McMillan. It's dropped away a little bit in the first part of this lap, but Maguire with a really strong showing here, and you have to reckon that a podium finish before the end of the season is now looking almost guaranteed. It might even happen before the end of this race. There is the man standing in his way then, Gordon McMillan in 3rd position. Gordon not even inside the top 10 in points. There, though, unfortunately, is Wayne Flint out of the race. The man who was 6th in the championship coming into this race. But, of course, that will now, needless to say, not be the case. He's going to drop way down the order. Drop scores will perhaps save him slightly. Wayne, that's not the way that we wanted to see his race end. Now, Ben Huntley, with less than half a lap to go now, by the way, is challenging Mark Skeets for 5th position. Meanwhile, Stephen Daly is less than half a lap away now from victory number 3 of the season. That will tie him with most wins of the year in the year with Ian Jones, whose season started off so well. Daly, by contrast, although he won 2 of his first 3 races of the season, didn't really seem to quite have the pace of Ian in the first couple of meetings, arguably. But things have conspired against Ian Jones, and Stephen Daly, as he gets more and more used to this car, is starting to become his usual difficult to beat self, and he is coming out of the final corner now with the window open to try and let some cool air in. He's about to achieve, though, his 3rd victory of the season. The checkered flag awaits for the Scotsman, and the reigning champion is going to win race number 2 of the weekend here at Snetterton. A brilliant, controlled, measured drive there from Stephen, who did all of the really hard work on the first lap. They made a good restart after the safety car. He is your victor. 2nd goes to Tom Griffiths, a good day for him so far. Gordon McMillan is 3rd. Paul Maguire so close to his first podium in 4th, with Mark Skeets 5th, then Mike Flowers, Mike Doble, Oliver Fowler, Craig Jameson and David Sharp. Tom Langford and Adam Reed are next, with Ian Jones 13th, not bad from 40th on the grid, and likewise from 41st to 14th for Matt Parks, with Aaron Morgan getting another top 15 finish. Quite a lot of non-finishers, but Ben Huntley significantly was disqualified from the race. He received a 5-place grid penalty after race 1. Things go from bad to worse, though. A disqualification cannot be counted as a dropped score. That may mean the end of his championship bid.
All right, congratulations, Stephen. Win today, 2nd, but you managed to get Tom off the line.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of lost a bit off the line to Tom. I was down to 3rd, coming round into turn 3. There was first and second were effectively fighting a little bit, opening the door to me, and I just kind of went for it. And then after that, it was just a case of watching the guys behind, just watching what they were doing, where they were catching, and just either picking it up and just managing the race as best I can. Don't get me wrong, I was still flat out trying as hard as I could. But there was that element in management in that race which I've just managed to. Obviously Ian Jones, Matthew Parks, they weren't in that race really in terms of myself. So we're quite happy with that. So we'll take every point we can get at the minute.
That's right, you take the championship lead now with Ian Jones finishing a bit further down. Are you looking for another win in the next race?
Hopefully, it's a reverse grid, so who knows what's going to happen. Again, stay on the track, stay out of trouble. Let's do this.
Right, good luck for the next round.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
All right, Tom, pole position, but didn't quite manage to get the win. How did that go for you today?
Not too badly. I think Stephen had the legs on us today. We said it before the start of the race. We try and work together to get away from the rest. And he just got ahead on the first lap, and that kind of settled it.
Okay, looks like you had a bit of a battle with Wayne Flint as well there.
Yeah, me and Wayne had a really good battle. That's what dropped us back a little bit from Stephen, so we couldn't stay quiet on his tail. But unfortunately for Wayne, it obviously didn't end too well. I'm not sure what happens yet, but yeah, we ended up second, so we'll take that.
Okay, you're definitely in the title hunt now.
Long way to go. We'll try. We've got to slowly claw ourselves back into it, but yeah, we'll give it our best.
Brilliant. Good luck for the next race.
Cheers.
All right, Gordon, congratulations. First podium of the year and a win in the Masters. Not a bad start to the day.
Absolutely. Considering the start to the weekend, I had a really poor start to this weekend. I'm working my way from 16th in qualifying yesterday to 8th in race one and then to 3rd today is just a dream come true. And especially because I'm racing in memory of a good friend of mine who passed away last year. So I'd like to dedicate the 3rd place to Rob Droy, who I used to go to university with, who passed away last year.
Well, for the third and final race here at Snetterton, the BMW Compact Cup are doing things slightly differently. A partially reversed grid. Essentially, the top 8 finishers from race 2 are thrown into a hat and drawn out in a random order. So, whatever order the balls are drawn out in, that is the lineup for the top 8 grid slots in this race. Therefore, the top 8 could have started in any old order. As it happens, Stephen Daly has still looked in and ends up on pole position, but with Matt Flowers alongside him, Mikey Doble and Mark Skeets share the second row, then Gordon McMillan and Paul Maguire are on row 3 together, and row 4 for Oliver Fowler and Tom Griffiths, who really lost out from all of that. Craig Jameson and David Sharp round out the top 10 ahead of Tom Langford and Adam Reed, and then a few to watch out for. Matt Parks 13th, Ian Jones 18th. They should both make progress. Reece Claydon, by the way, from 23rd on the grid to 15th in race 2. Can he break into the top 10 this time around, I wonder? Luke Browse survived that contact at the start with David May. He lines up in 20th position. Further back, though, there are more to watch out for. Wayne Flint will line up in this race 36th on the grid. He is one of many potential frontrunners coming from the back, though, because from 39th is Keith Towers, 40th David May, and Ben Huntley, disqualified from the previous race, starts 43rd and last. It's starting to rain as well, so there's plenty to get excited about ahead of this third and final race of the weekend. On board with Wayne Flint as the lights go out, and he gets a demon start, already diving from the outside to the inside as he tries to find some clear track on the run towards Rich's corner. Stephen Daly from the front of the grid, though, has held on to the advantage. He will lead them through turn 1. Mark Skeets is second, Mikey Doble up the inside for third, so not a great start for Matt Flowers. Now do we get everybody safely through? There's Wayne Flint up the inside through Rich's corner, and he, as you can see, there's quite a lot of drizzle falling now. It's getting rather slippery out there. The Wilson hairpin could get entertaining, and indeed it does, as they all find that there's significantly less grip there than there was on the green flag lap, and half the field skate out wide. That's Phil Adcock going wide, sideways Brendan Murphy. Wayne Flint does well to avoid him, and to avoid clattering into the side of an equally sideways Martin Gadsby. Both of them did a good job to hang on to that there. Wayne will take advantage of the lack of momentum for Gadsby, though, and drive around the outside of him through Palmer's corner. So, Daly leads the way, Skeets is second, Paul Maguire is into third position, and is that Tom Griffiths fourth? I think it is. Tom Griffiths from 8th on the grid has picked his way through the first few corners nicely, and he's already on the verge of a podium position. Lots more sideways action as they go through Agostini. Craig Jameson was out wide. There is the number 17 car, Will Davison, former production BMW champion. trying to make ground on the outside line. On board with Matt Flowers, that's Gordon McMillan in front of him, dicing away with Mikey Doble, who had a better start than that and has slipped back slightly, but Flowers is down to 6th from 2nd on the grid. He'll be a bit disappointed with that, but then that is where he finished the previous race. I guess that sort of makes sense, really. Out of Oggies they go. Just behind him is this battle. That's Matt Parks going up the inside of Craig Jameson and David Sharp. That was, so 2 places gained for Parks. Ian Jones is a few positions in front of him. Still there's Luke Rouse with his well-repaired car after his contact with David May at the start of the previous race. We're on board now with car number 3, Matt Flowers, side by side in front of us. That's Ian Jones on the right and Gordon McMillan on the left. So Ian Jones is already challenging for a top 6 position here. They're 3 and 4 abreast though in the ever-increasing gloom of this drizzly afternoon at Snetterton. And what sort of grip levels will they have when they hit the brakes through Brundle and Nelson? There's a bit of pushing and shoving, but nothing too untoward considering how treacherous the conditions are becoming. And Matt Parks did well to survive that then, so he stays in front of David Sharp. Great team there. The black and yellow car is Oliver Fallow, who's had a solid weekend. Wayne Flint is all out of shape as he comes through the bomb hole, but keeps his foot planted. There's nowhere to go though. Look at this, the road is just blocked in front of him. Gives the car in front a bit of a headbutt, but I don't think that was particularly intentional. Will Davison goes around the outside. Meanwhile, Matt Parks is up the inside, or attempting to get up the inside at least, of Gordon McMillan through the final corner. So, as we expected, lots of shuffling in the opening exchanges, but the opening lap of the final race of the weekend looks like it will be led by Stephen Daly, who has already won a race this weekend. He was 2nd in the opener as well, and has pulled out a 24-point championship lead over the man who's now into 2nd position. Look, Tom Griffiths, because Griffiths is ahead of McGuire, and they're both ahead of Mark Skeets. So Griffiths making good progress here, is emerging very much as Stephen Daly's nearest championship rival after this weekend. If he keeps it on the island, there the man in 2nd place running wide to try and find some grip on the more traditional wet racing line. Therefore want to commit to a risky move just yet, especially since Craig Jameson and Adam Reed not far behind him. So he goes from moving to work. He could end up losing some ground. He's closing in here rapidly on Luke Rouse. Does he have a go on the inside of Murray's? Luke, I think, has seen that coming, just moves over to the middle of the road to defend. So as they come out of the corner, it's on as even, but Langford will have the toe. He's had a slightly better exit as well, I think. Likely to be able to get alongside towards Rich's corner. We'll find out momentarily. Meanwhile, Wayne Flint is now on the tail of the Skeets, Doble and McMillan battle, so that took him less than a lap. Fowler is up the inside of Sharp. Wherever you look, there is racing to be seen, and that is why this championship continues to be so popular. And it has been great to see the full grid of 43 cars competing at the same time this weekend, which is a rare sight because of the popularity of the championship and the oversubscribed grid. The group system has been in play thus far this season, but at Snetterton you can start more cars on one grid, and we could just about fit the entire 43 car entry on the same grid, so why not? This has been the headline act this weekend, the Nankang Tyres BMW Compact Cup, and they have put on a real show, and Wayne Flint is not quite done showing everyone what he can do here. He's proven he can outbrake people up the inside, so now he goes around the outside. In fact, he goes up the middle of Mikey Doble and Gordon McMillan. Well, Doble ends up on the grass. I'm not quite sure if there was contact there with Wayne Flint, but if Wayne can pull off this double overtake, that's one of the best moves I have seen in a long time. He's on the outside of Hamilton, and no, he has to let McMillan go for the time being, but that was cheeky, some would say, but there was a gap and he went for it, and if there was contact with Doble, it was minimal. And Wayne Flint continues this charge up the order. Only 1 place gained in the end, but you sense that it's a matter of when, not if, he gets past Gordon McMillan now. Doble has rejoined, by the way, a little way behind these two, but having not lost any further positions at least. Or with Flint, you can see the slipstream start to work there as he closes in on Gordon McMillan. Doesn't really want to go to the outside, he wants to go to the inside, and you can tell he wants to go to the inside, but there really wasn't a gap, so he says, well, do you know what, I'll go around the outside instead then. That gives him the inside for Nelson. Again, he brakes significantly later, just gets the car pulled up, but it's a bit scrappy off the corner. McMillan will fight back again, and that time Wayne Flint couldn't quite get the car stopped sufficiently to hold on to the position, but it was a good effort, made all the more difficult by the spots of drizzle that are still falling at that part of the circuit, no doubt. Regroup, he'll try again now. Coram, Murray's is next. Wayne Flint doesn't really consider the inside line, instead focuses on the exit, which will be quicker because McMillan's on the grass, and that will lose him traction, lose him acceleration down the straight. Wayne Flint has already had a good weekend, regardless of the non-finishing race 2. He was on for what would have been his second career podium after he took his first career podium in race 1. Arguably, if he hadn't had that gearbox issue, 3 podium results, maybe even a race victory would have been on the cards. As it is, he has to try and fight his way a bit further up the top 10, as far up as he can get, and he's now going around the outside of Gordon McMillan, and he has done it, has he? Yes! Gordon McMillan has to give the place up, and so through goes Wayne Flint. That is another position gained. Breaks himself a bit at Wilson though, and McMillan's back through again. I don't believe it. So twice now it's looked as though Wayne Flint has made this move stick, and twice at the very next corner he's had to give the place back to Gordon McMillan, which is going to be frustrating Wayne immensely, because he's clearly quicker than Gordon, but Gordon showing good racecraft here, and as soon as he loses the place, applies the pressure and tries to force a mistake out of Flint, and so far that has worked. What about the inside line? And Agostini goes for it, locks up, there's going to be contact if they're not careful. Just about prizes the door open without too much argy-bargy. He's up the inside now towards Hamilton. And Wayne Flint, surely this time, has got it done. It's taken him a lap, essentially, to get past Gordon McMillan, but he has done it. And now his next target will be Mark Skeets. Meanwhile, Tom Langford and Adam Reed are still at play. And Ben Huntley, is that about to emerge into the shot? Yes, it is, Ben Huntley, so he's the next one we need to focus on here, as he continues this charge from the back of the grid after the disqualification in the previous race. No doubt the red mist will have fully descended here, and the youngster, who has shown magnificent pace this year, and indeed towards the second half of last season, is going to be ruining that penalty, because it may well have essentially counted him out of the championship battle this year. But you never know, stranger things have happened, and if you're going to have a penalty like that, better to have it early in the season than towards the end of the year, really can destroy your championship hopes. At least now he knows what he's working with. He knows he can't count that as a drop score. Ben's other results this season have been really pretty good. He had that race 1 finish of 4th, which remarkably was one of his worst 3 finishes of the year, so that will count as one of his drop scores. He had a 3rd and a 2nd to drop as well, so he can almost afford another bad finish, but he can't really, because of that exclusion. He needs to try and keep things clean for the rest of the season and keep on picking up as many places in this race as he can. This will no doubt become a drop score, because he is unlikely to get inside the top 5 in this race. The top 10 would be a mighty fine drive from the back of a very competitive 43-car field. Just a few places in front of him is Wayne Flint, who for once has no one immediately in front of him, but he is catching Mark Skeets and pulling away from the dicing Gordon McMillan, Mikey Doble and Oliver Fowler, who goes around the outside in the Grove Engineering car. Novice cross on the back of Oliver's car, but he's not really showing any lack of experience here, is he? He's making some good moves and has been right in the battle, sort of just towards the tail end of the top 10 all weekend long. Leaders, meanwhile, we haven't seen much of them, but they've actually been behaving themselves remarkably well in this race. But Ian Jones is catching Tom Griffiths on this final lap. Now, Ian is another driver who really could do with the points here. He is 63 points off the championship lead until you count drop scores, but because he's had a non-finish and Stephen Daly, the championship leader, has not, Stephen is dropping more points than Ian. Therefore, on dropped scores, the gap is actually only 23. So if he can make a move here on Tom Griffiths and get 2nd position, then that will significantly limit the damage that's been done by Stephen Daly this weekend. So this is a really important battle. This Tom Griffiths 2nd in the championship, Ian Jones 5th in the championship, but 4th on dropped scores. These both are drivers that will be hoping to fight for the title with Stephen Daly throughout the second half of the season. I think that when we get to the end of the year, we'll look back at this weekend as a pivotal turning point in the championship battle, when Stephen Daly, it looks like now, will get 2 race victories and a 2nd place. And really, only Tom Griffiths has been able to match that sort of consistency this weekend. Can he round his weekend now with another 2nd place finish, or will Ian Jones have something to say about that? Well, Stephen Daly is now only 2 corners away from a brilliant 2nd win of the weekend. And a 4th victory of the season. It's now pulled clear as far as the win count is concerned. It's taken him a little while to get into his stride this season with this brand new car that the KC Motorsport squad have developed over the winter. But he looks an awful lot happier in it now at this stage of the season, and he's proving tough to beat. Out of the final corner comes the Scotsman. The reigning champion is a 4-time winner in 2019. He will take the checkered flag, but for 2nd place it was almost overlapping there between Tom Griffiths and Ian Jones. Griffiths hangs on by a 10.5 in the end over Ian Jones, who charged his way through from 18th on the grid to finish on the podium. Well, a brilliant way to round out what's been a brilliant weekend of racing for the Compact Cup. Daly, Griffiths and Jones on the podium, Matt Parks 4th and Paul Maguire 5th, then Mark Skeets, Wayne Flint 7th from 39th on the grid. That is incredible. Outside the top 10 there, David Sharp, Ben Huntley recovered to 12th from 43rd on the grid, which itself was a great recovery drive. Everyone, though, in the championship should be immensely proud of themselves. We've seen some top-class entertainment over these 3 races this weekend, and the championship now starts to take on a slightly different complexion. Can anybody beat Stephen Daly over the remaining half of the season? It's going to take some doing, but there are plenty of contenders hoping to do just that. Here we go then. Stephen Daly leaves Snetterton with a 23-point advantage over Tom Griffiths in 2nd. Mark Skeets is 3rd ahead of Mikey Doble and Ian Jones 5th, with Wayne Flint just outside the top 5.
Okay, Stephen, congratulations. Look at the draw with pole position, and you certainly capitalised on that today.
Yeah, certainly. I was lucky to draw pole. Tom Griffiths came from 8th and he wasn't far behind me, so I mean, it's kind of a testament to how quick he was this weekend, and it just gives you an insight to how well the season's going to go. So just got to keep an eye on who the front runners are now and just try and stay ahead really. But that's a lot easier said than done, to be honest. But unfortunate with Ian this morning, going backwards, going backwards this morning, starting at the back of the grid. But it's awesome to see him back up here. Great friend of mine, and I'm always glad to see him up here.
Congratulations, Tom. Battled through the field to 2nd. How was it out there?
Oh, incredible. Changing conditions all the way through made it difficult for all of us, but the first lap, especially going from 8th to 2nd, it was like being back in karting with sort of reverse grids. It's, yeah, great fun.
And did you expect to see Ian Jones coming through from where he started on the grid?
I couldn't believe it when I looked in my mirrors and he was fully in my mirrors, waving at me, flashing his lights, and yeah, he done incredibly to come from 18th to up to 3rd.
Yeah, it was a fantastic result, and gives you extra points in the championship. Do you think you can catch Stephen Daly?
We've had a good weekend. Obviously, he's had a slightly better one now, but it makes it harder every time. But we'll give it our best shot, and hopefully we can get there.
Great result. See you in the next one.
Thanks very much.
Okay, Ian, congratulations. Fantastic result from where you started on the grid. How was it out there?
Hectic, exciting. What was that, 18th to 3rd? Brilliant. The first race was 40th to 14th, I think. So yeah, it's been an enjoyable day.
And that result keeps you in the championship. Do you think you can catch Stephen Daly?
Stephen would have to have some bad luck, which I would wish on him, but you never know.
All right, Mark, fantastic result, winning the Masters today. How was it out there?
We went out in the green flag. I'm sure the other guys have told you on the green flag laps, it seemed dry, and I started reeling on the grid, and I got into 2nd behind Stephen, and then when we got into the hairpin, it was just like ice. Pairs just locking up, sliding, rallying around that hairpin, and it was very, very slippy. You know, I just didn't have the pace of, like, I couldn't believe Ian Jones. He came from, like, on the 2nd. I looked in my mirror and I thought he's here already. But I knew that I was going to win the Masters, so I just thought I'll settle for that. I had a little bit of an issue under the bridge. I braked myself onto the grass, but yeah, it was pretty tidy. I'm quite happy.
So you're quite happy with all the action out there that you brought it home and got the win?
Yeah, I've had 2 fifths and a 6th in that race and the Masters win, so yeah, I'm more than happy with that.
Well, that's fantastic. Good luck in the next round.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.